good evening. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant evening. And oh my God, is it ever chilly out there tonight? We are cresting around about minus 30 degrees centigrade. And with the wind chill, taking it down to somewhere about minus 35 centigrade. So you don't want to be out there tonight and with uncovered skin under any circumstances whatsoever. And it's just a little quickie here, but you know, I was looking at my YouTube homepage, and they have a little section on there for CV news. So, you know, there's kind of screaming about all these cases and, it's off the charts and hospitals are in all kinds of trouble and so on and so forth. So I just thought I would do a quick search. Okay, I used DuckDuckGo, and I wanted to see how quickly I could find out what the South African experience was, because they've been through the whole Omicron situation, and it was an extremely speedy process. It started in November. By December 22nd, it had peaked, and by January the 3rd, it's basically on the way out. And so there you go, pretty mild. So I wanted to see how long it would take me, just to see how difficult it was for people to find out this information. I mean, we have the internet, there is all kinds of stuff out there, and it seems to me that people don't seem to want to research. I don't know whether this is part of the mass formation, but you know, I searched for Omicron stats South Africa. That was all I put in, and here we will see the results. There you go. Right away, top story, CNN. Second story, a medical group from South Africa, January the 3rd it's dated, and it picks up the whole experience in South Africa. So my point is, it doesn't take anything to find out that Omicron is not a real threat. It peaked very quickly, disappeared, and no extra deaths. And just in case you don't believe me, I'm going to read just those lines from the stories, and then we'll come back and do a quick wrap up. Okie dokie, here we go. Okay, so here is my search. As you can see, it says Omicron stats from South Africa. First story, CNN, South Africa has passed its Omicron outbreak peak, December 22nd, 2021. Second story, medicalexpress.com, news 2022, January. Caroline Maslow, MD, PhD from Netcare Limited, South Africa in Johannesburg, and colleagues examined data from hospitalized CV patients during the fourth wave attributed to B11529. And third story, The Hill. Health data suggests South Africa's Omicron peak has passed. And there you go. With no major spike in deaths. So let's just go to Medical Express. And here it is in full colour from Medical Press. CV Omicron wave in South Africa characterised. In South Africa, the pattern of patients hospitalised with CV early in the fourth wave showed fewer hospitalisations and reduced severity of illness compared with earlier waves, according to a research letter published online December 30th in the Journal of the American Medical Association. From CNN, the most trusted name in news, don't you know? South Africa has passed its Omicron outbreak peak, top researcher says. Fancy that. The country has surpassed the peak of the Omicron wave now, driven by the significant decline in the populous province and epicenter, Gauteng. Ridwan Suleiman, senior researcher at the South African Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, told CNN on Wednesday. This was echoed by one of the country's top scientists, Michelle Groom, of the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, who told a media briefing earlier Wednesday that all indications show that we've surpassed the peak of infections in Gauteng. He continued to say, although there may be a slight increase in deaths, the figure will be substantially lower than that experienced with the Delta variant. South African vaccinologist Shabir Mahdi also told CNN on Wednesday. Hospitalizations and deaths from this wave have proven to be significantly lower relative to that experienced in previous waves, Suleiman said. So there you go. There you go. Nothing to sweat about. From the Hill, health data suggests South Africa's Omicron peak has passed with no major spike in deaths. And this is on the 30th of December 21, so just passed. So there you go. No major spike in deaths. A study out of South Africa found the country may have already passed the peak of its Omicron-fueled surge in cases of CV, with data suggesting the variant has not caused a corresponding jump in hospitalizations and deaths. Well, I never. So my reason for doing this and making a short video about it is because, as far as I can see, the whole research thing is just beyond the pale. If you cannot type in 4 simple words and get results and take a moment to go read those articles. And of course it's interesting to note that the people who don't do this research are the ones who are yelling and screaming in your face about getting a mask on, mask mandates, mandated inoculations, all this kind of stuff. Don't do any research. Don't do any research. And so I am really, I'm just shaking my head here. I thought that we as a society, and I'm sure that many of my viewers and listeners are doing good research. But God damn it, there's so many people out there who are just falling short of the mark and, coasting through this situation as if nothing is going on at all. I mean, I don't know how many times I hear people say, oh, well, I guess there's nothing you can do. Really? You couldn't go on the computer and avail yourself of some current information to assess what your personal risk is in the current situation. And if you can't do that little thing, shame, shame, shame on you. You should just shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth, keep your opinions to yourself, because you have not researched. And you have no right to call anybody out. You have no right to attack anybody or call anyone down. 4 words. Omicron stats, South Africa. How hard is that? How hard is that? I thought we had a much higher level of education in this country. I mean, this is basically, if your IQ is above room temperature, this is not beyond your reach. And if you can't do that, as I said, shame, shame, shame on you. You deserve to be fooled. And there is that old Roman maxim, let he who would be fooled be fooled. And by golly, you are getting fooled. You're going to be going for your 8th booster shortly and scratching your head, if you've got any hair left at all, after all of that. So let me ask you this, my fine feathered friends, how many boosters do you have to take before you realise that it's not working? That they're fear-mongering, there is nothing really to fear. If you have, CDC came out the other day and said, right in your face, 74% of deaths in CV had at least 4 comorbidities. And they didn't talk about the people with 3 or with 2 or with 1 comorbidity. And so how many people? So the average person, if you don't have a comorbidity, you are virtually risk-free. And there is no good reason for you to be taking an experimental trial drug. Okay, this is experimental. They're going to say, well, you've been doing it for about a decade. A decade is nothing in science. You need to study this for an entire person's lifetime, 3 or 4 generations, to really understand what the long-term effects of this kind of stuff are going to be, and to allow yourself to be fear-mongered into a situation because you can't go onto the computer and do 5 minutes research, read the article, and take a quick risk assessment of your situation and carry on with your life as normal. Okay, so I'm going to let you think about that and pass this on to friends. Share this with people because, like I say, it might seem like a simple thing, but I was actually stunned at how easy it is to find out information in this day and age. So please, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment and subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.